Okay. So anybody who's on the web and watching this from their computers, I have a QRL code? Is that what it's called? I think it's called QRL code. But anyway, if you iPhone, Samsung phones, you can take a picture of this code.
Anybody who's on the web and watching from their
Sorry, just a smartphone. You don't need an iPhone, is what you're saying?
You try it with other phones. I know with Androids, you may have a problem. Definitely Apple, Samsung works. Try any phone you have, see if it works. You basically take a picture of this, or you put your camera on this. A button pops up on your camera. You press that. It takes you to the login page for Fidelity Investments, so that I get credit that you attended my seminar. So if you did sign up, I'd appreciate it very much. Thank you. We'll get started in about 2 or 3 more minutes. Has everybody else in here had any problems use the iPad? We could start in another minute or two, you think?
Yeah, I think it's 12:05. That's what I've been telling them online.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to get started now. So hopefully everybody who needed this got a chance to use it. All right, so thank you very much, everybody, for coming. My name is Dan McCarthy. I work for Fidelity Investments. I cover the Drexel retirement plan here, so I actually come on site 1 or 2 days a month and meet with participants in the plans, help them make sure that they're getting the most out of the benefits and are on track to meet their retirement goals. I've been working in the financial industry for 25 to 28 years now. I've stopped counting. I'm a certified financial planner. And I actually used to work in the Fidelity Investment Center right up in King of Prussia. We have one in King of Prussia, one in Marlton, another one here in Philadelphia. So a lot of investment centers to help you after your retirement to manage your assets while you're in retirement. Today's seminar obviously is on Social Security. The next 35 to 45 minutes, we're going to talk about Social Security. When should you draw from it? Certain features about it. How is it calculated? And for everybody in this room, when I do these presentations, I try to make it as interactive as possible. I don't want to just be up here talking by myself. So if you have a question or a concern, please raise your hand. Hey, Dan, on that slide, could you explain this a little bit more? Or I have a question for this. Please interrupt me if you have a question. All right, I welcome that. So talking about Social Security, does anybody here know what year Social Security started? Start way back in 1940. So back in 1940. Does anybody know what the average life expectancy was back in 1940? 65 years old was the average life expectancy. When was Social Security supposed to start back in 1940? 65 years old. So basically, the government, in their infinite wisdom, came up with that idea that we're going to tax you for a retirement program, and then as soon as you qualify for it, according to studies, you'll collect 1 or 2 checks and then pass away, and we'll keep the difference. That was their concept and theory. Anybody ever hear of Ida Mae Fuller? She's the first woman ever to receive a Social Security check. She got her first check on January 31st, 1940. That check was for the whopping amount of $22.54. Now, that's not too bad considering Ida Mae only paid into Social Security for 3 years. In total taxes, she paid $24.75. So by her second check, she was in the black. She was in a profit. Can anybody guess how old Ida Mae Fuller lived to be? Come on, some guesses, just numbers, throw them out. 100. She lived to be 100 years old. So Ida Mae paid in a whopping $24.75 into Social Security. She got back $22,889. Exactly, great investment for her. Another government plan that worked well for the government. So my goal today is try to help you learn how to take advantage of Social Security, take advantage of everything that's offered to you, and get the most out of Social Security. Now, I can't promise you I'm going to get you the kind of return that Ida Mae got, but I'm going to try to help you get the most out of this program. And it can be kind of complicated, so I do recommend as you near retirement, go to your Social Security office, meet with them, and discuss possible ways to enhance your benefits. So when you think about your retirement, some of the things you need to address. Everybody has a different picture of what their retirement's going to look like. But in your retirement, one of the big questions is, how are you going to generate income? How are you going to replace the paycheck that you've been living off of for the last 20, 30, 40 years? How are you going to pay for health care? That's probably one of the biggest questions or concerns I get when I meet with people getting close to retirement. It's a big portion of your expense. It's something that you're kind of paying for out of your paycheck right now. You don't notice it, but in retirement, you have Medicare, and then you have to pay for the supplemental care, and that can really add up in expenses. And then finally, how and when will you claim Social Security? We'll address and talk about that a little bit too. So, how will you generate income in retirement? Social Security is meant to be a big portion of your retirement, but it's not meant to be all of your income in retirement. In actuality, Social Security is going to make up somewhere between 25 to 50% of your pre-retirement income, depending on what your income level was while you were working. So then there's other areas in which you're going to have to make up the rest of that shortfall. So one of them, if you're lucky enough, pension. Not many people have pensions anymore. My dad had a pension. It was great. My mom loved it. She thought that the electric company was the best thing in the world because it paid her for the rest of her life. As long as my dad was alive, he got it. When my dad passed away, it continued for her. So pensions are kind of getting rare nowadays. Not many people have them. Next option. Maybe you've got real estate property or rental properties where you can rent them out. That's another source of income that helps keep pace with inflation. Put it down on top of your Social Security. You're build up an income stream. Lastly are other sources. The other sources are basically your life savings and the other option, working in retirement. So these are the different options you have of ways to generate income in retirement. Also possibly annuities and other investment sources like that to help generate that income in retirement. So you want to make sure that your money is going to last throughout your entire retirement. So one of the best things to do, nobody likes, create a budget. Right? Nobody likes to be told how much they're allowed to spend, but creating a budget, especially today while you're still working, can be extremely useful because it gives you an idea of how much you're spending on a monthly basis to maintain the lifestyle that you currently lead. And what's really important is find out how much you're spending on a monthly basis, look at how much you're going to receive in Social Security, you and your spouse. Are you fortunate enough to have a pension? That's your guaranteed income sources. Look at your investments. How much do you have saved up in investments? The rule of thumb when you have an investment account is you want to pull 4% or less out of your investment account each year to help ensure that that money will last 30 years or longer throughout your retirement. So if you add up these income sources, Social Security, a pension if you have one, rental properties if you have them, and then withdrawals from your investment accounts of 4%, how much income does that give you to live off of? And then test it. Check your financial readiness. See if you can live off of that amount of income today. What's your Social Security and your spouse's Social Security, withdrawals from investment accounts, and any other income sources you may have? How much will that add up to? If that adds up to $4,000 a month, can you make ends meet today with $4,000 a month? If you cannot do that, then when it comes to retirement, you probably have to make some adjustments to your plan. Because once you retire, you're on a fixed income. You don't have additional income sources. You just make adjustments. Either you work longer before you retire, you spend less in retirement, or you save more towards retirement. So, or you work part-time in retirement. Nobody likes those choices. Most people want to retire and be done. But I will tell you, more and more people I meet with who retire within 6 months to a year do tend to either volunteer or do some type of part-time work, really just more for the social interaction rather than the income, but the income does help. That's a great way to test to see how well prepared you are to retire. You determine what your income will be in retirement and can you live on that income today. So healthcare cost, one of the major hurdles to retirement. For the average retiree today for supplemental healthcare cost, they can pay anywhere from on the low end $200 a month up to $500 to $600 a month per person. So a couple going into retirement need to add up all their normal living expenses plus factor in supplemental healthcare costs somewhere between $400 to $1,000 a month. Add that into your expenses. And again, can you live off of the income that you have fixed from the other slide? If you can't, you're going to need to make some adjustments. Also, medical costs rise at a rate faster than that of inflation. Typical inflation runs around 2 to 2.5%. Medical expenses inflate around 5 to 5.5%. So you need to be factor those into your retirement plan. So when you think about claiming your Social Security, there's a couple things you want to think about before you go file for Social Security. One of the biggest factors is your age. Anybody know how early you can file for Social Security to claim your own benefits?
66 and a half.
That's full benefits.
No.
The earliest you can file for your benefits.
62, right?
62, right. The earliest you can claim benefits is age 62 on your own work record. It's the earliest you can claim benefits. The problem with that is you're looking at a 25 to 30% reduction for the rest of your life on your Social Security benefits versus your full retirement age Social Security benefits. So by claiming early, you're really painting yourself into a corner because you're going to have less income and you're going to have to depend more on other sources, pensions, rental properties, or your own investments and savings. So the longer you can delay, the better off you will be. Another thing to look into is your life expectancy. What's your health like? Are you in good health? Are you in bad health? What about your family? Your parents, your aunts and uncles, how long did they live? Does longevity run in your family? If longevity runs in your family, you want to delay Social Security till at least full retirement age, possibly as far back to age 70. Gender is also another factor. Guys here, you're not going to like this, but women live longer than men. So it's important to understand that when, in most cases, like my parents, my dad passed away first, my mother got the higher Social Security continued, but the lower Social Security benefits stopped. So when one spouse passes away, the surviving spouse takes a cut to their income. So you want to maximize whoever is going to receive the higher Social Security benefits. So marital status is important, like I just said. The surviving spouse continues the benefits. And income. The higher your income, the more your Social Security benefits will be, the dollar amount, but the smaller percentage will replace of your income. If you're making $60,000 a year, Social Security is going to replace somewhere between 35 to 50% of your income. If you're making $120,000 a year, Social Security is only going to replace somewhere between 25 to 30%. If you're making like $200,000, you're talking like 20% replacement. So the higher your salary, the smaller percentage Social Security is going to replace. So that means it's more on you to build up a nest egg to cover your expenses in retirement, to maintain the same lifestyle that you've been used to. So what is Social Security? Social Security is basically a social welfare program. And it helps give you money in retirement, typically for the average person, when you become too old to still work. So basically, everybody pays into the program. The benefits are paid out age 62 or over. And they pay to the retired worker, they pay the disabled workers, and they also pay the spouses of the workers. So true or false? The money you pay into Social Security is the money that you get back. So you're paying into a pot that then will be paid back to you when you retire. Any guesses? False. False, right. Lack of a better term, Social Security is a giant Ponzi scheme. The money that you pay in is immediately turned around and paid out to people who are collecting today. So basically, the money that you put in does not get invested. It's not going to invest anywhere. It just basically, they take the money in from today, they turn around and pay it out to people who are already retired. So you're paying for your parents or maybe your coworkers who are already retired collecting Social Security. True or false? Social Security and Medicare are the same thing. False, right. So they are part of the same program, but they're not the same thing, and they do have some overlap. They're both part of your FICA tax, Federal Insurance Contribution Act. Medicare basically is for your health coverage. Social Security is for your income. The FICA tax that you pay go to cover for both of those programs. Social Security, you can start as early as age 62. Medicare, you cannot start until age 65. Social Security, so not a fan of the way they word this question, but Social Security will be completely gone in a few years. True or false?
On every paycheck, right?
False. It will not be gone. Social Security has been around for over 80 years. But one of the big issues is there's a Social Security trust fund that is being depleted. Basically, it's expected to run out around the year 2035. So what's happening is, if you look back in history, there used to be about 10 people working for every one person retired. So today, there's only about 7 people working for every one person retired. In the next 5 to 10 years, that number is expected to drop to about 4 people working for every one person retired. So that means there's less and less money coming in per person to cover those expenses. So the trust fund is being depleted. So what that basically means, if you're 65, 60 or over, really shouldn't have a big impact to you. You've pretty much been promised the benefits. The government's going to do its best not to change your benefits. But if you're 55 or younger, there could be some changes coming your way to the Social Security program. Some of the things they're talking about is possibly pushing back the earliest you're allowed to collect your full benefits, or possibly even reduce the amount of benefits that you will have. But the worst case scenario that I've heard is, at the worst case, you will get at least 25 or at least 75% of what you're promised in today's dollars. So there could be a 25% reduction if the government does absolutely nothing to address the issues with Social Security. So you'll still get it. It's not going to go away. It's just not going to be as robust as you thought it was going to be. And again, more of the responsibility falls on your shoulders to make up for that shortfall. So that's why you need to save as much as you can towards retirement. Okay, so how Social Security works. So how do you qualify to get Social Security? Nobody really thinks about that too much. First, you must have worked for a covered employer. That means you paid taxes into the system. Second, you must have earned at least 40 Social Security credits. I never even heard of Social Security credits until I did this seminar. Does everybody here know what Social Security credits are? We'll get to that in a minute. And then thirdly, you must be age 62 or over to collect your own benefits. So, covered employee. Basically, a covered employer, to work for a covered employer, they pay into the FICA tax. So that means for Social Security, anybody have an idea how much you pay just for Social Security and taxes out of your paycheck?
1.2.
Well, that's for Medicare. You pay 6.2 for Social Security taxes. So
Is that only up to a certain income cap?
Yes.
Which is part of the problem of why the
Exactly. So
being depleted?
Exactly. It is up to a certain income cap. They are increasing it, but it's up to a certain income cap. For 2019, the most that you made, that you paid Social Security taxes on, will be $132,900. So this year, for 2019, if you make more than $132,900 or $133,000 or more, you've stopped paying Social Security tax on it. So they don't tax you anymore on it. So that's 6.2% stops coming out of your paycheck. So all of a sudden you get a pay raise once you get over that threshold. Also, your employer matches that 6.2. So you're paying 6.2 for Social Security, your employer pays 6.2, the matches. So in total, you're paying 12.4 of your salary goes in towards Social Security benefits. So that's how the FICA wages are made up. Now you mentioned it's 1.45 is Medicare. So Medicare and Social Security are all part of the FICA tax. So you pay 1.45 of your salary. Your employer pays 1.45 of your salary towards your Medicare. And on that, there is no limit. They will tax you as much as you make. You still pay taxes for the Medicare. May still qualify if the worker did not. So you may still qualify for Social Security benefits even if you didn't pay into the system if you're the spouse of someone who did. So a perfect example is my mom. My dad was very old-fashioned. My mom was not allowed to work. She had to stay at home and take care of the house. So she never worked. Therefore, when she retired, she collects spousal benefits on my dad's work history. She still qualified for the benefits, even though she never worked other than a few jobs when she was in her early 20s. Does somebody have a question? Okay. So, Social Security credits. This is something most people aren't really aware of. Basically, you have to earn 40 credits in order to qualify. Now, the threshold to earn these credits is extremely low. Each year, you can earn up to 4 credits. You earn 1 credit per quarter. The credits cost $1,360, or basically you need to earn $1,360 to qualify for a credit in that quarter. So pretty low threshold. It's not how much you pay in taxes, just you need to earn $1,360. Once you've earned $5,440 in the year, if you're doing it at the beginning of the year, you'll get all 4 credits, but you only get 1 credit at the end of each quarter. So if you made $6,000 in the first quarter and took off the rest of the year, you still qualify for all 4 credits. You just won't get your 4th credit until the end of December. Is everybody clear on that? The threshold's pretty low. I mean, as long as so if you're making $5,440 a quarter, you're making $22,000 a year. You'll get all 4 credits in that year. You need to accumulate up to 40 credits to qualify for Social Security. So basically, you need to work for 10 years, earn 4 credits per year to get the 40 credits. They do not have to be earned consecutively. So you may have worked for 8 years, took a year or 2 off or something, and then went back to work and then earned some more credits. It's just over your work history to get those credits. And it works the same if you're self-employed, but the kicker there is self-employed people have to pay both the 6.2 out of their own salary plus 6.2% for the employer because they are their own employer. Military service and married works the same, so you still get the credits if your spouse earned the credits, or you get credits working in the military, getting paid through the military. In order to be able to collect, the earliest you can collect Social Security benefits is age 62. But like I said, if you do collect that early, you'll get somewhere between a 25 to 30% reduction in your Social Security benefits, and that's locked in for life. Today, the full retirement age is going to vary somewhere between the ages of 66 to 67. Here it actually shows how they set up this plan. So if you're born in 1943 and 1954, you qualified for full benefits at age 66. If you're born in 1955, the government made you wait 2 more months to collect your benefits. So you got them at 66 and 2 months. If you're born a year later in 56, they made you wait 2 more months. So now it's 66 and 4 months, and so on. Out to if you're born in 1960 or later, now it's age 67. Excuse me. So it's age 67 today. One of the discussions is possibly continue to extend this out all the way out to age 70. So if you're born in 1961, they're going to make it 67 and 2 months. If you're born in 62, 67 and 4 months, and so on, all the way out until the earliest you can collect is age 70. That's one of the things they are discussing to try to help protect Social Security and keep the benefits paying at their current amounts. Any questions on this? Okay. So how are your benefits calculated? So like we said, when you start collecting them has a big impact. Calculations are based on your full retirement age. The claiming early, like I said, will reduce them. If you wait, they'll actually get increased. So if you start collecting at age 67, let's say, or 66, depending on when you were born, you'll get your full benefits. Every year you wait beyond full retirement age, you get an 8% increase in your Social Security benefits. Where else do you get an 8% pay raise every year? I mean, the government can be generous at times, I guess. So if you're, say, full retirement age 67, and you delay till age 70, you get 124% of your full benefit amount. That can have a huge impact to your cash flow in retirement, how much you need to rely on your own savings, and it can also help protect if you want to leave some type of inheritance to your family. So you can claim on your ways you can claim. You can claim on your own record based on your work history. You claim on a spouse's, and you can also, or even an ex-spouse, and you can claim on a deceased spouse record. So, to claim spousal benefits, you must be at least age 62 or over to claim a spousal benefit. Your spouse must currently be receiving benefits in order for you to be able to claim on their work history. And why they put your spouse in a wheelchair, I have no idea. Even if you do start collecting the benefits at age 62, you still are not entitled to Medicare until age 65. So again, that's one of the biggest hurdles for why most people wait till age 65 to retire. They need that Medicare to kick in. Medicare covers about 80% of your health costs in retirement. Supplemental health care costs are covered through, or supplemental health care covers the remaining 20% of your expenses in retirement. So claiming a spousal benefit. Now this is for your current spouse. It says former spouse, but really this is for a current spouse. The worker must be taking the benefits now. So if your spouse is not currently claiming, you cannot claim on their work record. You have to wait till they file and start claiming. There were some special techniques you could use in the past, but most of those have been removed and are no longer available. So your spouse must be claiming their benefit, and then you can claim the spousal benefit. The spousal benefit is half of whatever your spouse is entitled to. at their full retirement age. So if your spouse's full retirement age is age 67, and they're entitled to get $2,000 a month in Social Security benefits at age 67, and your full retirement age is age 67, you need to wait till age 67 to claim your spousal benefits, which will give you $1,000 a month, half of their $2,000. If your spouse is older than you, your spouse files for benefits at age 67 and they get the $2,000. You're 62, you're like, I want to start collecting now. You can get the 30% reduction, so instead of getting $1,000 a month, you'll get $700 a month. 30% reduction of your 50% of their benefit. So you are really taking a big cut by filing as early as age 62. Social Security adjusts on a monthly basis, so every month that you delay, it does increase incrementally. So the longer you wait, the more you're going to get.
What if your spouse has their own benefits? They've been paying in all their...
Well, Social Security will compare which is the greater benefit
So
they
they
only
give
give you one.
the spouse only gets half of whatever one.
The spouse will either get their work, so if your spouse is working and they have their own work history, the Social Security Administration will actually look at their work record, their work history, what is their, what they call primary insurance amount. That's how much you'll get when you retire. So look at your primary insurance amount. What is yours based off of your work history? This is your spouse's work history. What is theirs? What's half of theirs? What's better, half of theirs or yours based off of your work history? You will automatically get the greater of. So then when you're collecting your benefits in retirement, when one spouse passes away, Social Security then looks at the two incomes for both of you. Your one is $2,000, the other is $22. Whichever one's the higher Social Security benefit, that one continues for the surviving spouse, whether it was theirs or not, and the other one stops. So any questions on that? Some people think that they just continue theirs. Social Security does give you the higher benefit, but the lower benefit does go away.
Excuse me.
Yes?
What if the spouse is older and that's the one that's not working, is 65 already, 67 already,
Yeah.
but the working spouse is 65 and wants to wait until 67?
So if the younger spouse does not file in for the benefits, the spouse cannot claim the spousal benefits until they file. So here's an example of a little bit of a confusing way in which Social Security describes how the spousal benefit works. So the primary spouse is making an $800 a month benefit. Second spouse is entitled to half of that benefit. However, the second spouse did work a little bit. So the second spouse has their own primary insurance amount benefit of $250 a month. So they're going to get $250 a month based off their own work history, but the spousal benefit's $400 a month. So Social Security will automatically default to the $400 a month, but that's not the way Social Security describes it to you. What Social Security says, just to make things confusing, is no, the second spouse still gets their benefit, but we'll pay them an additional $150 on top of their benefit. So you don't stop your benefit and get the spousal benefit, you get your benefit plus a little bit more on top. You're essentially getting the $400 a month, however you want to look at it. They just like to explain it in a more confusing manner. Any questions on that? Okay, if you're divorced, you can actually claim benefits on your ex-spouse. My father-in-law was married 4 times. He had 3 different women claiming Social Security benefits on his work record. If you're married for 10 years or more, you've not remarried, eligible for Social Security, and you've been divorced for more than 2 years, you can file on your ex-spouse. Doesn't matter if your current spouse can be claiming, your ex-spouse can be claiming. If you have another ex-spouse, they can be claiming also. So the government doesn't limit how many people can claim on your benefit. You just must have been married for 10 years. You've not remarried. You're both of eligible age. So unlike a married spouse, to claim an ex-spouse, your ex-spouse does not have to be claiming for you to claim their benefits. However, your current spouse must be claiming in order for you to claim their benefits. Everybody clear on that? That's what I was just saying, how you're still married, get divorced, and your spouse can claim on you. And you must have been divorced for more than 2 years. So for a surviving spouse, so like I was saying earlier, surviving spouse, whoever had the higher amount of income you automatically take that benefit over. So if it's, like in my parents' situation, my dad passed away first. My mom just stepped right into his shoes and continued receiving his benefit. Hers stopped. If somebody dies prematurely, somebody dies, say, in their 55, 56, 57 years old, you can start claiming survivor benefits as early as age 60, but that's even more reduced than starting at age 62. So that should be an emergency situation. It's not recommended. So how do they calculate what your primary insurance benefit is or how much you're going to get paid? Social Security looks back at your 35 highest years of earnings. So a lot of people get that confused. It's not the 5 highest or your last 10. It's 35 years of your work history. So if you worked for 30 years, you're going to have 5 years of zeros in your balance. That's going to bring down your payments. If you worked for 40 years, they're going to drop the 5 lowest and use the 35 highest. Anything you made before age 60 will get indexed for inflation. So basically, you have a question?
There's a question, whatever.
Okay. So it gets indexed for inflation. So anything you made prior to age 60 gets brought up to more current numbers and factored into your 35 years of income. Anything you made age 60 or over, they actually use that actual number. So Social Security will take all 35 years, all indexed for inflation, or anything under age 60 indexed for inflation, divide by 35, get your average indexed yearly earnings, divide that by 12 to get your average indexed monthly earnings. They call it AMI. And then they take that number and they put it through 3 different, what they call bend points, percentages. On like the first $800, you're entitled to 90% of the first, I think it's the first $900 you made, you get 90% of that benefit. Anything from $900 to $5,000, you get, I think it was 50% of that. And anything over $5,000, you only get 15% of that. So if you're making more than $5,000 a month over your career, somebody who's making high net worth income, that's why Social Security replaces less and less of their benefits, because once you get over $5,000 a month, they're only going to pay you 15% of that in your benefits. So it's really meant to help people who are going to have low income retirement, didn't save much. It's really meant to try to help protect them as more. People who are high net worth earners, the government expects you'll save more for retirement. The most that you can receive in 2019 from a Social Security benefit at full retirement age, not at age 70, but your full retirement age, so 66 or 67, is $28.61. That's the most they'll pay you in 2019, unless you defer to age 68, 69, 70.
That's a monthly?
Monthly payment. What was the question?
The question, does one need to be a citizen to receive the benefits, or is a green card okay?
That I am not sure. I can, if you want to write down that question, I can get you an answer, email back to you, and email it to them. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't even want to try to guess on that one.
We have a second question coming through. Someone's been told that they could start collecting Social Security at age 62 and then switch to my spouse's, which would be higher at full age of retirement of 67. Is this true?
There's a feature called file and suspend. So you must be, I believe you must be age 66 this year, or 60, I'm pretty sure it's 66 this year in order to be able to do that. So if you're under age 66 right now, that feature is not available to you. They just closed that loophole last year. So you want to check with the Social Security Administration, your local Social Security Administration office, and they can verify if they can do it for you, and then have them help you file the papers. There used to be a loophole that you'd be able to what's called file and suspend. So you file for your own benefit and you suspend it. And then you collect the spousal benefit off your spouse. Now you're getting that half of their benefit. You do that from like age 62 to 70. Then at 70, you stop your spousal benefit and you switch back to yours, which now is compounded, get an 8% increase for the last 3 years, and you get a 24% increase on your benefit. So you got your spousal benefit for 3 years, 66 to 70, or 67 to 70. So you got some income from Social Security, but then you switch to your own at age 70. The Social Security has closed that loophole. But some people still are grandfathered into it, and I'm pretty sure you had to be 66 at the beginning of this year in order to qualify for it.
Sounded like the question they were asking is kind of the opposite of that, though.
What?
Let's say one spouse turns 62 and starts collecting on their own benefits. But then the other spouse, 3-4 years later, turns 66 and is eligible for full benefits. And if half of their full benefit would be more, can the spouse switch from
Yeah,
their lower
they've
benefit?
done away with both of that switching. Once you start receiving a benefit, whether it's yours or the spousal benefit, you've locked into that.
Okay.
So that they've tried to close that window of being able to start with one and switch to another. Yes?
Is there a cap to getting that extra 8%? Does that stop at 70? Or
70, yes.
It is 70.
There is no reason to delay Social Security benefits beyond age 70. There's no benefit to that whatsoever. And if you do make a mistake and you file like 70 in 2 or 3 months, they'll actually give you your back pay on that. The government's pretty generous with that.
That's a current number, or do we see that changing?
It's a current number right now. I mean, if they do push out the max Social Security age to age 70 is the earliest you're allowed to receive it, they may then push back, be able to get credits to 72, 73, but right now 70 is the most you can push it out to, since the full age is age 67 for everybody right now is the oldest you have to be to get Social Security full benefits. Yes?
Is there a difference between the rate from 62 to 67?
Yeah.
And say you went out at 65, will that rate change?
Yeah. So starting at 62 is the max reduction. Every month that you delay taking the benefits will be a slightly small increase back to your full primary amount. The way the IRS, or I keep saying the IRS, the way Social Security does it is if you start Social Security benefits 3 years, or the first 3 years earlier that you take it, they reduce your benefit by 0.5% for every month that you start taking withdrawals. I don't know where they come up with these numbers. So that's if you start anytime 3 years earlier. If you do it up to 5 years early, the first 3 years is 5/9, the next 2 years is 0.5%. I don't know how they come up with these numbers, but basically it comes out to if you start 5 years early, you're 67, you start 62, it's going to be a 30% reduction. Every single month that you delay is a small incremental increase. And it same works for if you get to 67 and you start at 67 in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, every month that you delay, you get an incremental increase. At age 67 and over, it comes out to an even 8% every year. 62 to 67, it's like 5%, 6%, 7% increase each year.
Are you taxed on this?
I'll get to that in a minute, but yes. Short answer, yes, and I will get to that in a minute.
Of course.
So that's how they calculate your 35 highest years. And then another big thing, which we're beating to death here, is the age at which you start your payments is going to have a big impact on how much you're going to receive. Great website to go to, ssa.gov. That's the Social Security Administration website. You can create a username and password, see your actual work history. And believe it or not, the government does make mistakes, so check your work history. Some people have had zeros in there when they actually did work. So you have to notify the Social Security and tax returns and get that stuff updated. But you can see how many years you've worked, what were your salaries of those years. Can also help you decide do you may want to work a year or two longer and replace some low earning income years with your current salary that would help boost your income in retirement. Yes?
Yeah, I had a question about the 70-year-old the boundary. So what will happen if somebody shows up at 71 years at the Social Security office?
So they would still qualify for their benefits. I believe Social Security, I'm not positive, but I believe they only will pay you back up to 3 months of back payments. So because, well, excuse me?
You will lose money then.
Right, so yeah, if you come to claim Social Security and you've waited till age 71, you've missed 12 months worth of payments, I do not believe they'll pay you back the full 12 months. I believe they only pay up to 3 months of back pay. So then you would just go from there, but you would get the highest amount possible. But that's why you want to start at age 70 at the latest.
Another question.
Okay.
If it's a good time.
Sure.
If both spouses are earning and eligible for a high benefit, can both get their full benefit, or does the government require one spouse to take a reduction?
Okay, so no, if you're both are high income earners and you're earning the max for Social Security, so if you're both making in 2019 over 132,000, 133,000, you're going to get the max benefit for that year. Yes, both spouses can get the max payout. So if you were retired in 2019, you and your husband and wife both working, high income earners, they would both get $2,861 in 2019. And if you delay to age 70, you can continue to increase. Sure. So I touched on this a little bit, but we said the 35 years, You want to check on the website, make sure you don't have any zeros in there. You may decide to work a little bit longer to replace low income years. And like I said, if you have, say you only worked 30 years, you'd have 5 zeros in there that would get factored in to adjust your annual income. That's really going to pull down your benefit. So even if you weren't making a lot towards the end of your career, if there was a portion where you didn't work, you want to make up for those years. Otherwise, you're going to take a hit to your benefit. Now, on Fidelity's website, and I'll show you the website at the end of the seminar, but there's a tool on the Fidelity website that you can go to. You enter your date of birth, male, female, family health history, and it gives you some projections of when you should actually take your Social Security benefits and how much they could potentially be based off of your current salary. There are then a bunch of other links to address retirement questions, retirement planning questions, and saving questions. So I'll give you this link at the end of the seminar, but it is a very good, useful tool. So I think we've addressed this, but should you collect Social Security as early as you're eligible? Right, myth, not a good idea. So like we said, the longer you wait, the better your income is going to be, the higher it's going to be. I don't know if I did really address this, but if you have two, husband and wife, and they're approximately the same age, and let's say the wife's making more than the husband, so she's the higher income earner. It's better for her to delay her Social Security to age 70 and have her higher benefit get enhanced even more, because that's the benefit that's going to continue when one of the spouses die. So whoever is the lower income earner should probably start around age 66, 67, unless you decide to keep on working. But if you want to start it, you always want to start the lower income, the lower Social Security benefit first, and try to let the larger one continue to compound at that 8% increase, because again, that's the one that's going to continue when either spouse dies.
I have a question.
Yes?
Wouldn't you only get half of that?
Could you repeat the questions for the audience?
Sure.
Would you only get half that benefit?
No, so you do not. So when a spouse dies, you are entitled to the full benefit. So if a husband and wife, let's say use my parents' situation. My dad was getting $2,000. My mom was getting like $1,000. Let's say when my dad died, my mom's $1,000 stopped, but my dad's $2,000 larger amount continues for her. So if a husband and wife are working today, like my example, the wife's making more, so she's entitled. Let's say at age 67, she's entitled to the full amount, $2,861. If she delays to age 70, that's going to increase to over $3,000 a month. So the husband's entitled to $2,500. He would start $2,500 at age 67, let hers go to age 70 and get over $3,000 a month for hers. And then when he passed away, because men tend to die first, she would continue getting the $3,000. If she passes away first, he stops getting his $2,500, but he then claims her $3,000. Yes?
So if somebody decides to delay receiving the benefits until age 70, but passes on at 69, what happens?
Okay, so if somebody delays to age 70 and passes away at 69, their spouse would get the benefit from that. If they have no spouse, no money gets paid out. The IRS is the benefit of it. So that's one of the risks you take. When you determine if you're going to delay to take the benefits, you want to look at your current health, your family history. Life expectancy today for a male is about age 85, for a female, 86 to 88. So if you're in good health, taking care of yourself, odds are you're going to live into your mid-80s. So you tend to benefit from delaying. But if you delay to age 70, or you plan to delay age 70, you pass away at 69, the money, you receive nothing. Your spouse will get a benefit, but if you have no spouse, the IRS just never paid you out. You paid taxes for all those years and received nothing for it. I mean, if everybody here could tell me the day they're going to die, I will tell you the best way to use your Social Security.
I thought that's what this was about.
Yeah, tell me when you're going to die, and I'll tell you exactly what to do. You can't claim Social Security while you're still working. True or false? False, right. Not a good idea, though. So you can start collecting Social Security. You start collecting Social Security when you're a full retirement age, so age 66 or 67. Then Social Security does not withhold any of your benefits. But if you start collecting Social Security benefits before you have reached full retirement age, so younger than full retirement age, Social Security will withhold $1 for every $2 that you make over $17,640. And again, I have no idea where they come up with these numbers. So if you make more than $17,640, if you make $17,642, Social Security is going to withhold $1 of your Social Security benefit. So every month they'll withhold $1 of that benefit, and they'll keep track of it. So if you work and you're making $20,000, $30,000 and collecting the benefits, a lot of your benefits are going to get withheld by Social Security. So you're taking the benefits, you're paying taxes, and you're not really receiving the benefits. The year in which you reach full retirement age, you can make up to $46,920 before they start to withhold any money. At that point, they'll withhold $1 for every $3 you make over the limit. Question?
Yes. If you work 35 years, then stop working at 60, if you don't officially retire until 70, are you penalized for not working those last few years?
No. Yeah. So if you work 35 years and you've made that by age 60, and then you wait till age 70 to collect, you still will get enhancements. You still will get increases in your benefits, but you're not penalized. Social Security basically is calculating your benefits off of your work history and how long they think they're going to pay you, just like an actuarial table from an annuity company. They know how long you should live, how much they should pay you out, so the longer you delay, the more they're going to pay you, based off of the less amount of time they expect that they're going to have to pay you. Like I said, once you reach full retirement age, there is no reduction for working. Now, when the Social Security withholds these dollars from you, they add up, once you reach full retirement age, they add up how much did they withhold from you. So if they determine, okay, you started collecting at age 62 and we held all this money from you, it equals 3 months worth of payments. We're now going to go back to when you were 62 and adjust your starting date to age 62 and 3 months. So that took your benefit from X to Y. Now we know your new benefit had you waited those 3 months, and now all your future payments get slightly adjusted based off of how much your payments would be now going forward for the rest of your life. And if you live long enough, you get back everything that Social Security withheld from you. So they don't technically not give it to you. It's just they withhold it, and then you've got to live long enough to get it all back. So it's a government program. I don't know where they come up with these ideas, but it's the way it works. So Social Security Social Security benefits are fully taxable. True or false? I heard it true. Anybody else? So myth. They are not fully taxable. At worst, you'll pay taxes on 85% of your benefits. So no matter what, 15% of your Social Security benefits are tax-free. But you can pay up to taxes on up to 85% of your benefits. And it depends on what your adjusted gross income is. The number's pretty low. So if your adjusted gross income is between $25,000 to $34,000 a year and you're single, you'll pay taxes on 50% of your benefits. If your income's between 32 and 44, you'll pay taxes on 50% if you're married. If you make more than $34,000 a year and are single, you'll be taxed on up to 85% of your Social Security benefits. If you're married, filing joint, and you make more than $44,000 a year, you pay taxes on 85% of your Social Security benefits. So not all of it's going to be taxed, but only 15% is totally tax-free. And that's your adjusted gross income after deductions. And when they do that calculation for adjusted gross income, they'll only use half of your Social Security benefits income. So if you're getting $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year, they exclude 12 of that, so they only look at it as $12,000 a year of income. It's putting your adjusted gross income plus any pension income plus any withdrawals from IRAs all gets added together. Then you get your deductions to determine your adjusted gross income. So, look on your tax returns at the end of the year, see where you are. But most people are going to pay taxes on 50 to 85% of their Social Security benefits. So, government gives, government takes away. Okay, so slide moves kind of quick, but this basically shows you the percentages of how your Social Security income will increase each year that you delay. So it goes from 62 or 70 to 75 to 80 to 87 to 93 to 100 at age 67. You can see how it kind of increases a little bit more. It starts off at 5% jumps, then goes to 7, Now you're at 100%. Now if you delay, you get 8, 16, a 24% increase. So you can see it grows pretty quick. So the longer you delay, the better your benefits will be, which means the less you're going to have to rely on your own savings. Do you have another question?
Yeah, when you said earlier that the highest amount that Social Security paid out in 2019 is 2861.
Yes.
Does that reflect this number? Or
That is not this 124. So 124 would be the 2861 with a 24% increase.
Repeat that.
Sure. So the question was, when I mentioned the max payout from Social Security for 2019, the max payout is 2861. That's for that's for full retirement age, 66 to 67, depending on when you're on board. If you delay to age 70, you're going to get a 24% to 32% increase on that number. Question?
Yes. Are there any issues with Social Security payments when retiring abroad?
They're going to be taxed. So I would recommend to speak with a tax attorney on this because that's what we always say we get the tax issues. But typically in that scenario, you would have to pay whatever taxes would be due in the U.S. and then whatever taxes are due to the other country based off your income level there. But I would definitely check with a tax attorney on that.
Thank you.
So here's an example. Somebody who qualifies for $1,800 a month at full retirement. If they start at age 62, they get 70%. They get $1,260 a month. So a pretty significant reduction from $1,800 a month. Now, if you wait to age 70, $2,232. That's almost $1,000 more a month of income, $12,000 a year. How much easier would it be to retire if you had $12,000 a year more coming in? I mean, hopefully everybody likes their job and plans to stay till age 70, but you can see there are definitely big benefits by able to delay to age 70. Or maybe if you work till 67 or 68, live off your savings for 1 or 2 years, and then turn on your Social Security. You're not going to get an 8% guaranteed pay raise, not even in the markets. They're not going to guarantee an 8% return each year. So if you do have the savings and you can live off your savings for a year or two, take the guaranteed 8% increase. So again, this is basically just saying, the more you delay, the more you're going to get. The things that factor are your health, life expectancy. Have you saved enough to actually bridge yourself from 66 to 67? If you still want to retire from 66 to 70, if you still want to retire at 66 or 70, but delay to age 70. So here's just an example. Colleen here, if she retires at age 62, she gets $1,200 a month. She delays to age 66, her full retirement age, she'll get $1,600 a month. If she waits till age 70, she'll get $2112 a month. So in this example, if she starts collecting if she delays age 70 versus full retirement age 66, by the time she's 89, she gets an extra $38,000 of income. So that's more than a full year's worth of extra income by having delayed to take her Social Security benefits. And this does not take into account Social Security adjustments for living, so cost of living expenses, which do get increased each year. So when you delay taking your Social Security benefits, you have a higher dollar amount. When they do those cost of living adjustments each year, it's off a larger amount. You get a bigger increase every year. So this does not take that into effect either. So that number would be bigger if that was taken into account. Another question? If
your benefit is reduced due to earning income while claiming Social Security, is that reduced amount paid to you later on?
Yes. So if you are working and claiming and they're withholding the benefits, Social Security will add up how much they withheld from you every year, determine how many payments does that replace. So let's say you're getting $1,000 a month. They add up the withholdings, so it adds up to $3,000. That means they withheld 3 months of your payments. They go back and adjust your starting age for 3 months, so then they increase your benefits, and then you start getting paid back what was withheld to you. And then the key is you need to live long enough to receive everything that was withheld. Any other questions?
Not right now.
So this is a great timeline of everything that you need to be aware of, or ages that you need to be aware of in retirement. So age 60, that's the earliest that anybody can claim benefits under the survivor benefits for Social Security. Age 62 is the earliest you can claim under your own benefits. There will be a 25 to 30% reduction, like we talked about for the spousal benefit. That would reduce if your spouse is a lower income earner, your benefit would be reduced, so whatever would carry on for them would be reduced. Age 65 is for Medicare. You have a 7-month window to file for Medicare. It's 3 months before you turn 65, the month you turn 65, 3 months after. If you do not file for Medicare and you do need to, later on you need to file for it and you missed your window, your Medicare premiums will be inflated for the rest of your life. So you do not want to miss that window. Age 66 to 67 is full retirement age. That's when you receive the full benefits that you're entitled to. And age 70, Social Security maxes out. Turn it on. Even if you're working, there's no point in delaying any longer. Any questions on any of that?
Yeah, could you repeat that part on Medicare when it gets higher?
Sure. So Medicare gives you a 7-month window to file for Medicare. So you have 3 months before you turn 65, the month you turn 65, and 3 months after you turn 65. So a 7-month window to notify Medicare that you retired and that you need to claim the benefits. If you're still working,
Part A only or everything?
that's just to notify Social Security or to notify Medicare that you're retiring. So it doesn't mean you have to turn your benefits on. You just want to notify them that you're 65. You may be covered under another plan. That's fine. But if you are retired and you're like, you don't file, you're like, oh, you know what, I'll do for that later, and then you miss the 7-month window, you have to wait until, I believe it's November to January is the open enrollment period. You then file for it. But your benefits don't kick in until July. And now because you've gone 6 months to a year without benefits, Medicare will hit you with a higher fee for your benefits, and that higher fee carries for the rest of your life. So you want to just notify Medicare when you get to 65, and you do it right through the SSA Gov website. I'm 65, either I'm retiring or I'm still working, but I'm just checking in that I don't want to miss my open enrollment window, and notify them. Okay? No reason to pay extra fees for the rest of your life.
So, but if you're still working and you're covered under a different plan, what?
You're not actually filing for it, you're just notifying them that you're 65, and they'll tell you you don't have to do anything until either your spouse retires or you're no longer covered under that plan.
So it's just the notification is what is important.
Right.
If you don't do that, then you're late.
You're not late, but it's better to do it. So the real problem is if you're covered under your spouse and you're 66. So technically you don't need Medicare yet. So your spouse is still working, you're 66, your spouse is still working. You were supposed to notify Medicare, but you didn't because you didn't need the benefits. Now your spouse loses their job. You're busy helping her find a job, and then you miss the open enrollment period. Now you go to notify Medicare that, okay, I had coverage, but it lapsed, and now I'm going back to notify you that I don't have it. They're like, well, you've missed your open enrollment window. Now you have to wait till the next open enrollment. Now you've gone so long without the benefits. Now you have an issue. So if your spouse loses a job, that should be a reason to notify Medicare. I didn't file when I was 65 because I was covered. Now my spouse lost their job. It's a life-changing event. I need to file now. They'll let you do it. If you let it lapse and you let so many months go by, 7 months go by, then you've missed the chance to have a life-changing event and be enrolled. And now you have to wait for the open enrollment, and now you're going to pay higher fees for the rest of your life. So that's why it's good just to notify them, I'm covered under my spouse, and they'll go over, well, if your spouse loses your job, here's what you need to do. Yes?
Just what you just talked about, changed at 70. Like, in other words, like my husband, he's on Part A, he does Part A.
Okay.
But he just turned, because he's on my insurance. But in Part A, I think it's free. But now he's 70, he turned 70 in May, but he's still not taking Medicare.
Okay.
I don't think.
Yeah, so nothing, so you're, just so the people on the web can hear it, basically the question was if your spouse is on your insurance plan and your spouse turns age 70 and now has to start collecting Social Security, does that impact Medicare or anything along those lines? So no, it will not. It will not impact the Medicare until you actually retire, and then they start going on Medicare Part B, which then about $140 is withheld from their Social Security payments to cover Medicare Part B.
For my husband.
For your husband, right.
Okay.
So the only thing that would happen is once turning 70, he starts collecting Social Security. He pays nothing into Medicare at that point because he's covered under your plan. But then once he goes to start claiming the Medicare because you retire, then he'll see $138 right now, $138 is deducted from his Social Security payments to cover Medicare Part B. So you pay Part A while you're working. Part B is taken out of your Social Security payments when you retire. Part C is the supplemental coverage. That's what you pay out of your pocket for a supplemental plan, either a bundled plan through Medicare Advantage or a la carte plan that you can do with multiple providers, depending on your situation. So just to review, Social Security is meant to be a portion of your retirement income. It's not meant to be all of it. And for the average person, to be somewhere between 25 to 50% of the income. The basic eligibility, most people will qualify for the credits. Really not that hard to get those 40 credits. And then it's based off of the 35 years of your highest earnings. Spousal benefits mean you don't even have to work in order to qualify for it. Go to ssa.gov to see what your benefits are and determine what your expenses are. When do you want to file for your benefits? Do you want them to grow and continue to increase, or can you make ends meet based off of the current payments? So these are some of the websites you would want to visit. If your retirement account's with Fidelity, this is the Fidelity Net Benefits website. That's where you can go on and review your contributions, review your investments, make sure your beneficiaries are up to date. Everybody I meet with, I'd say maybe 60% of people I meet with have their beneficiaries the way they actually want them. The rule of thumb from Fidelity is, at a minimum, you want to be saving 10% towards retirement, ideally 15% or more. So if you're saving less than that, you want to get to that 15. If you save 15% or more over the course of your working career, you should be able to have the same lifestyle in retirement that you had while you were working, when you factor in your Social Security on top of that. And then the the fidelity.com/when to claim is that tool I showed you a little bit earlier, a screenshot. Shows you what your benefits could be based off starting early, starting full retirement age, starting at age 70, based off the health. You list your health as good or bad in there. It'll tell you when to start, how much you could expect to claim. Then it also has links to other useful retirement planning tools on that website. So there's a lot actually on that website, more than just that one tool to help review your plan. And the nice thing is you don't need to be a Fidelity customer to use these tools. Anybody can go on. There's no login required for these tools. Then finally is the ssa.gov, is the Social Security Administration website. That's where you can view your information, make sure it's all accurate, and get a real hard figure on what you're going to get when you retire. Any final questions?
I've just got an example question. So I'm eligible to claim between 62 and 70. If I die, when can my spouse claim if I haven't already claimed?
Okay, so if your spouse, what age did you say if you die?
Anytime between claiming it.
So if you die anytime between ages of 62 and 70, your spouse can claim as early as age 60 under the spousal benefit, but it would be a reduced amount. Bless you.
Thank you.
Or they could wait until they get the full retirement age, and then they would be entitled to your full benefit if they wait till their full retirement age. If they start earlier, they will have some kind of reduction.
So if they start early, based on whatever my age was, can that get changed for when they become full retirement age, or are they locked in at?
Once you turn it on, you're locked in. So if a spousal benefit starts at age 60, the earliest they can get it, they've locked in a lifetime permanent reduction of that benefit. Excuse me. Yes?
If I started at 67, which is the full retirement age, and my spouse then 60 or 62, and they are claiming half of mine, will it be adjusted because of their age that they are not yet 67, or will they still get the full benefit of 50% of my retirement?
Okay, so if you're full retirement age 67, and your benefit is $2,000 a month, and your spouse is age 62, and they want to start claiming at age 62 their spousal benefit, since your full retirement age benefit's $1,000, half of that's $1,000. So that's what they're entitled to is $1,000, but that's at their full retirement age. They're entitled to $1,000. Since they're starting at age 62, they would have a 30% reduction, so they'd actually get $700 a month. So even if you're claiming a spousal benefit, you need to be a full retirement age to get the full spousal benefit. If you start earlier, your spousal benefit will still be reduced. Okay? Any other question? Oh, another question?
Can you claim benefits if you relocated to another country but kept your U.S. citizenship?
Yes, it'd still be subject to the taxes. So yes, you can claim benefits in another country, but you'd still be subject to taxes for both this country and the country that you're residing in at that point. And again, talk to a tax attorney.
Contact you later.
Excuse me?
Can I get your card?
Sure.
I can contact you later.
Okay. Any other questions? Great. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it.